So the first topic we have for today is how to triple your open house leads with First Alert. And First Alert's a tool, so we're going to talk about the tool. But then we're also just going to get real scientific. Rich knows a tremendous amount about open house, so we're going to get not only focus on the tool, but also the how. So, Rich, you've worked with the team here to roll out a plan that helps agents triple their open house leads, and that tool is First Alert. It's a combination of a tool and scripts and dialogues and maybe a mindset shift to how you're going to handle open house. So, but let's start with the tool, and then we'll get into the how. So tell me what First Alert is. Great name, by the way. But tell me what it is, how it works. Break it down for me.
All right, sounds good. Well, thanks for having me on the show this morning, Keith. Really appreciate it. Well, actually, it's kind of a brainchild of Kathy Harrington and mine. We were thinking about all the people that have been coming in open house. Out in the field in San Francisco, we've had anywhere from 50 to 100. We had 130 people in one open house a few weeks ago. And I'll talk about when we get into holding open house, how you can get that much traffic, what we did to do that.
Okay.
But we're trying to figure out what is a better way to capture leads. And with inventory so low, we've noticed that a lot of buyers are not able to get an offer in time in order to get the property. It's gone. So we thought that we would reposition our property alerts into a more marketable system that when people come into open house, they would understand what property alert really means. And so Kathy and I came up with the name First Alert. Kathy put together all the marketing around it. And basically what it is when somebody comes into your open house, you would want to be positioned probably in the kitchen, guarding your laptop or your tablet or iPad. And when they come in, there's a marketing piece that will be located right next, kind of a stand-up on a stand,
We've got
explaining what.
We'll show them a sample of that in a little bit. Yep.
Explaining what First Alert is, and they'll go right on the tablet or the computer and type in all the information, their information, and what type of property they're looking for, so they would get notified instantly when these properties come on the market, hence First Alert. We didn't call it First Alert, but we've done a couple of these out in San Francisco. We've got about almost a 70% of the people that come in go in and fill this out. In fact, I had one agent who was not around, was talking to somebody, turned around, and people were filling it out without being asked.
Line formed, waiting to fill out their information.
And if you think about it, this is a lot more effective than the open house registration.
Right.
Because they're putting in the property they want. They see a benefit to being alerted right away. And a key field in the form also is, do you have a house that you need to sell? We found about 25 to 30% of the people coming into open house own a property and they may need to move it. And then it also asks them, would you like a market analysis? Would you like to know what it will bring on today's market? So this is also an opportunity to get listing leads. So then they're automatically put into the First Alert or our property alert system.
Right.
On the agent side, this isn't the agent website form is what's up. So it goes into their client relationship manager system. So it instantly it's engaging their clients for them. And so then, of course, the follow-up in the following weeks is what's critical based on how they fill the form out.
So let's there's a lot in that. So let's kind of take this piece by piece. What we're really looking to do is unlock the buyer's demand, right? The buyer is getting their teeth kicked in. They're writing 4 or 5 offers. And they're stressed out, freaked out by the process. So having a tool that will give them First Alert, quick access, We're rebranding a tool we already have. But positioning it as we can help you find properties faster. If you find properties faster, maybe you can get a quick first mover advantage.
Get the house maybe you actually want, not your third or fourth or fifth choice.
Right.
And here's the big plus to this and why this is important in open house. First of all, there's a lot of traffic. So walking around and trying to close people's appointment is going to be tough, and then you may lose the real good buyers while you're trying to close an appointment over here in the open house.
Because 3 people walk in at the same time, and you just have to guess who looks like they're the buyer that's going to work with me.
That's why Kathy's put together a great promotional piece. It'll sit there standing right next to your laptop, so if you are talking to somebody, it's pretty self-explanatory. It looks really good. So that's key. But here's what I really love about this system. If they're not willing to fill out a form that'll alert them on properties that meet their criteria, then they're not an A or B buyer.
Right.
And how many agents are running around buyers right now that are never going to purchase? We've all done it as agents.
Yep.
We've worked with buyers that didn't buy. If somebody comes in and sees, wow, I'll know when my house comes up on the market instantly.
My criteria, whatever.
Right. And fills it out, they're a buyer. If not, they weren't a buyer. Great.
And maybe there might be another thing, well, but they might have already filled out another, update form. A really motivated buyer, if they see something that they believe will give them a first mover advantage,
right,
then they will fill out 2, 3, 4. They won't care.
True.
Because what they're really motivated to do is to find their house. That's all they really care about.
Well, that's where the branding comes in, this first alert. I think it really, people may be on systems like that, but this branding and this marketing of it makes it sound like, it is the first alert. I want to be the first. I may be on a getting property sent to me, but this one sounds like it's faster just because of the name. So I think anybody that seriously wants to purchase a property would see this as an advantage and fill out the form. And we've tested it, and they do.
We just pulled up the sample of the freestanding.
Yeah, and that is the East Bay core, that's the suburban look. Right. We also have a metro look for San Francisco type properties. But yeah, the one they're looking at now is what will be set up right next to to your laptop or your tablet.
And I'm sure if someone was really passionate about it, they could drop in photos. I'm looking at Kathy. She's slowly nodding her head. Yeah. So if it didn't work for the wine country, you could drop in 5 wine country shots. Right. It's just 5 photographs. So we could unlock some of that so that make sure it fit to the local market.
Yep.
So this flyer that we see standing would be a display that's next to a computer
that has the actual form,
and they would just fill out
and
name,
then hit submit,
email address, bedroom, bath count, price point.
Right. Do you need to sell a house?
Do you need to sell a house?
Right.
Is there a lot of information that they need?
No, the key is just the minimum, because if you have a long, big form, they're going to say, well, can you send us the link? We'll fill it out later. That's what will happen. They have to look at the form and go, you know what, I can knock this out really quickly. Let's do it now. That's the key to the form.
Okay.
So it really is.
You're not looking to get War and Peace from them.
No.
You're looking to get enough so that the search has value and capture their email address.
Exactly.
That's really the goal.
And the key will be, once they fill out these forms and they start receiving property alerts, the key will be the follow-up phone call.
Right.
Now,
do you get a phone number from everyone? Is it optional or mandatory?
It's optional on the form.
Okay.
But the one thing that we will also offer out when we release this is our call center.
Okay.
Through the home loan group here centrally. So let's say you have an open house, you have 100 people and 40 people fill this out. You're not comfortable with closing on the phone.
Sure.
We've got a script that we'll give the call center to follow up on these leads for you. All right. So that is a big plus. Yes. Well, because the home loan group's looking for some loans, nothing like home loan group calling you and saying, oh, by the way, we followed up. We got them pre-qualified for $750,000. They'd like to find something this weekend.
Right.
I mean, that's really working, the mortgage company and the real estate together.
Yep.
And they'd love to do that for the agents. Absolutely.
So what I think we've pulled up here is the fields, the sort of minimum, maximum fields that some are optional, some aren't. First, last, and email.
Right.
It looks like is required.
Yep.
Pretty much everything else after that is optional.
Yes.
I mean, they're going to put in city. They're going to put in price range, bed and bath, because that's why they're there. And I like, even if they aren't thinking about selling their home, they can still learn the value of their home. So
right.
It may not be as far in the sales funnel yet. They may just be beginning to think about
exactly. And a lot of them coming to open house are just getting started. And the beauty is, if they're looking for the value of their home, then you attach the drip campaign that we have that is specific for sellers. And let that drip campaign train them to use that agent when it comes time to sell. And same thing on the buyer side.
Great. A couple questions. One from Jackie wants to know, will this work on an iPad?
Yes.
Yes. Confirmed.
Yep.
We've already done it on an iPad.
In fact, and that's the best thing really to use is a tablet.
As a tablet.
Yeah. But the laptop most definitely. But the tablet makes it, just look a little cooler.
You know what I mean? I can't help but go down into the weeds. So should an agent carry this with them and try to register the client? Is it better if it just sits out?
I think, how
did you test it to get those great
the
results?
best thing, is, first of all, if you talk about open house, whenever you walk into a retail shop and you walk in, maybe a car dealership or a furniture store, right when you walk in, somebody says, "Hey, how you doing? What can I do for you today?" Your first response is always, just looking.
Yep.
So your best bet is to let them wander around the house, but be anchored in the kitchen, because they're always going to come in there with that iPad and then the marketing piece right next to it and saying, "Would you like to be one of the first ones to know when a house meets your criteria, it comes on the market? All you have to do is fill this little form out here online." That's what I'd be doing all day if I was an agent. Just that right there as they come into the kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how it's set up to work.
And hold the flyers. That's another thing I used to do.
Yep, very good.
I'd hide all the flyers, and the only flyers in the building were in my hand.
Right.
Because everybody is Pavlovianly trained to want a flyer.
Right.
So hang out in the kitchen because it's a great central location. Keep the flyers in your hand because they'll find you to get their flyer every time. So they have to say hello.
And then when you hand it to them, ask them, "So how long have you been looking?"
Exactly.
And you don't let go until they answer.
Right.
I've had tug of wars.
Yeah. they got half a flyer from me.
Exactly.
Another quick question, and this is just real technical because not every office has a home loan group loan officer. Does that matter? Or
No.
all have access to the calls? Okay.
Yeah. They have central loan officers that would take that if there was a loan possible. Yep.
Great. So let's talk about, and we're going to jump back in a minute. I want to get into like real scripts and dialogues around, mindset around open house. And, don't sit there and read the paper, some of the real sort of fundamentals of open house. But we get this list. We had 40 groups through, 25 of them filled out the online form.
Can I tell you my really awful open house story one time?
Yes,
this is when I was young and stupid.
Just remember we're recording.
Okay.
All right.
So I built my business on open house. That's why I believe in it. My first deals were all done in open house.
My first year in the business, I did 102 open houses.
And Saturdays and Sundays, and I would have on the wall in the office would have all the closings coming up, and I would have like 10, 12 coming up. And agents would be asking me, "So what are you doing this Saturday?" And they would say, "Open house." And they go, "Why? Look at all your closings." And I'm like, duh.
Right.
But anyway, this is really funny. So I'm young, just out of the military, and so I'm holding a brand new house open, brand new. And I had gone out with the guys the night before. Right. So I get up like right before the open house, and I'm in open house, and I decided it was kind of slow, so I thought I would lay down. And so it's the brand new carpet, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so I fell asleep on the carpet, and then I heard a car door outside, so they didn't catch me asleep.
Right.
But they looked at me funny because I looked in the mirror after they left. I had carpet marks on my face. I know. So the lesson here is don't fall asleep on the carpet.
In the app, we've also added an alarm feature so that if you do, plus if you get a tablet, you could lay the tablet down on the carpet and then just put your face on the tablet.
See, these are valuable information we're giving the agents here on Monday morning.
Wow. So I'm going to thank God there's a question from the audience so that I don't have to try to segue that into anything else. There's an agent, and this is, again, pretty specific. I'm probably going to recommend that this agent get with the help desk. But maybe I'm brand new or I haven't been a technologist. Or, I think someone might have created my website for me when I started, but I've never touched it. I've never looked at it. How do I
see your manager? First thing, they will let you know where you are in the process. And by the way, this thing is easy. Your website takes nothing to launch if it hasn't been launched yet. It's very easy. And then you just access the form online like you were a client anyway, and you have it up on your tablet and your website.
Yeah, you may not know
very
this,
simple.
But you do. If you're on this radio show and you work for us, you have a website, and we started it for you.
Yeah, and we have that form.
And that form is embedded in there. You could check with your manager. You could also call the help desk. I don't have that number memorized. What's the number for the help desk? 924-4700. 924-4700. So you can also call the help desk. They're very expertly trained at helping you walk through and just get right to your website and can get you set up. So if you are on this call and you work for us, you have a website, you just may not have known it, and embedded in there is the first alert. So look at that. We already set it up for you. So it's post-open house. Now, I've got this list of people. I managed to stay awake for the entire open house. And I've got this list of people. Tell me, how should I follow up? And then maybe let's break this up into two buckets. So one is where I didn't get a phone number, and one is where I did. So I didn't get a phone number, and how much is too much? Should I email every 45 seconds?
This is a good question. The problem is, as most potential clients look at us, is there's a gajillion realtors, and they feel like that we're all the same. So when you reach out in your first communication, it's critical that they perceive you more valuable than experiences they've had before. So as a buyer, think about what would be critical to them and offer that. So after you, let's say you don't have a phone number, so you do your initial email. Something like, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, you filled out our first alert form. You should be getting the property updates. Just wanted you to know that I've done a search myself, and I have found 4 properties that have met your criteria. As a matter of fact, I searched for properties that may be in a lower price range to see if we could find you better value, and I found one that might work. If you'd like to know about it, just reply to the email. Also, you put certain areas that you want a property in. I'd love to share with you what the resale values in those areas have been over the last 5 years. So not only do you find the property that fits your family's needs, but is it a good investment? I think a lot of times people have failed in that way, and I'd like to help you in that point. So if you feel these things are valuable to you, just reply to me with your phone number and we can chat. So in the email, I'm offering things like, I'm offering, number one, to see if you can find the property for less money. How many agents do that? And then number two, here's resale, so feel more comfortable with the investment you're making. And now I have separated myself from the other email responses and the other systems that they have signed up for. Does that make sense?
It does. Completely. Another one that I've done in a competitive market like this is I've gone out and found properties that have been on the market extended period, 60, 90 days. So but you have pretty good intuition that those won't be competitive. And if buyers have been losing, or buyers are hearing about multiple offers and bidding wars and that kind of thing, non-competitive situations become really attractive to them. And they don't usually end up being interested in those properties because they're non-competitive for a reason.
The key is getting an appointment and then becoming a buyer, which this is a really good one. You'll love this. Do their criteria property search for expired listings. Email them and say, look, I've identified some properties that meet your criteria,
that are off market,
though they are not on the market, but are very purchasable.
So you're really, again, let's say we had 45 people come through the open house. We got 25 respondents, and 15 of them were only email. I mean, this isn't a cut-paste template. Hey, thanks for coming by. This is really trying to invest some time, effort, and energy to convert this person from a lead into an appointment.
Exactly. And the key is, do you present the value? Just, I'm a real estate agent and I'd love to show you property, ain't going to cut it. You've got to come to something to the table that a serious buyer would go, you know what, this is good stuff. Properties that aren't on the market, purchasable, resale value, maybe a couple that are lower than the price range I said that might work. Hey, this is an agent that maybe has some competency about him. So you've got to be able to demonstrate that in order to separate yourself from all the other real estate agents that maybe hit them up for business.
Good. And so that's the first one. Just because we're not going to do a whole marketing campaign here. Well, I mean, the agent is. We are as a company, but we're not going to lay it out. But how many, let's say you send it, you don't get a response. What's the is it an email a week for the first 7 weeks and then once a month forever? Till they buy
I think
or die,
consistency. Your percentage is going to drop if you don't get them initially. But the key is, and we have campaigns in the system already, attach an appropriate buyer campaign or a seller campaign and just let it do the work for you. And I would say, maybe every 3 months, if you got the phone number, give them a call, or a direct email from you. But let the calendar it for that. But let the campaign kick in for you.
I agree. I would have some sort of intensive program for a period of time that felt appropriate to you, whether that's 60 days, where you were kind of in front of them a lot for 60 days, and then just move them to your whatever your email drip database, normal marketing sphere of influence.
Hey, throw them over to the call center
if you have the number
every 60 days and say, here's all the people that had registered for open house that were thinking about buying. You want to run through them. Let them resurrect them for you.
Great. A couple good questions from the audience. One is this an app or a form? I think the answer is
it's a form,
a landing page, a form.
It's a form
that's on the website. So it's not an app yet.
But you'll be able to, at least I know this much about the iPad, you can create an icon on your iPad off the page.
Oh, that's
cool. So you can do that just about on most websites.
It'll seem like an app.
It'll look like an app. Yeah, but it's a bookmark that's an app on your. It looks like an app icon on your page. That's always a great thing to do. So it looks like it's you're going to an app, and it'll be easy to reference every time.
I would have it up where right there.
Yeah, you're going to want to have it up, but when you go to open house, if you created that bookmark icon on the iPad, you just press it and boot the forms up.
Good. Yeah. Cool. Another quick question, and this is very technical, so we'll just have to see. But for second home markets, is there a way that there could be this is a primary or second home, or does that just start to sort of muddy it?
If you are, maybe you're holding, maybe this Tahoe thing.
Tahoe, wine country.
I think that if you want to submit what you would like the form to look like, we could create another one up here, and then it could be the second home market form for the people that are in that. Absolutely. That would take nothing for us to create. So if somebody really sees that to be interesting, then we'll do that.
Thank you for asking that question for everyone that's in the second home markets.
Absolutely.
Jackie, if you'll shoot an email to Kathy, we can look at getting that reworked.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it would just be just a different form than that one.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now, so that was, I don't have a phone number, and we said some sort of intensive marketing plan, and then just move them over to your normal drip campaign. Now I have a phone number. How often should I call? What's the right follow-up for that?
Well, I'll tell you this. If you have a phone number and you held the open house on Sunday, you need to call Sunday night. That right there will separate you from all the other agents. And it's not really different than the email. So let's say you were the one that filled out. And we'll role play here.
Yeah, let's do it.
So ring, ring.
Hello.
Keith, this is Rich Casto. I saw you in my open house today. How are you?
Oh, wow. Hey, I'm well.
Great. You know what? I noticed you filled out our property alert and looked at the criteria for the house that you're looking for. And I wanted to call you this evening because I got pretty excited for a number of reasons. Number one is I found 4 properties that just came on the market that meet your criteria. One of them is about $100,000 less than the price range you're looking in.
Really?
And I thought something of that value you might be interested in.
Yeah, of course.
Right. So when would be a good time for us to get together? Tomorrow night, Tuesday night?
Well, Tuesdays are better.
Okay, good. Yeah. So we'll stop right there. The key is whenever you call to close for an appointment, you're selling the benefits of an appointment. Not that you want to work for them or your desire to get commission. So what was beneficial in that conversation for you? Wow, I found a house $100,000 less that might work. Or I might come with, Keith, I've got about 6 or 7 properties that aren't on the market that meet your criteria but are purchasable. I can't email those to you, but if you're willing to come in, I can show them to you because they're properties that were listed but now off, but we could go back to, would you be interested in seeing them? So that, again, I'm selling the benefits of the appointment. And so whatever you can do to create value for that person to want to come in, that's what you sell and that's what you close for. And you notice I sold you on the benefit before the appointment.
Right.
So would you like to have $1 million? Yes, I would. Great. See you in the office Monday night. Right? So that's what you're selling are the benefits of the appointment first.
It's hard to say no to the appointment.
After you said yes to the benefit.
Right.
You got it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. Good. Yeah. Okay. So, and then just again to get tactical for just a second. So call, get a voicemail, leave a voicemail?
I was not a big voicemail leaver because then you put the ball in their court.
Sure.
Sales is about putting the ball in your court.
Yeah.
Keeping it in your court.
The only message, sometimes I'd leave a message. It would depend. If we had the love connection,
Right.
I'd just leave it. It was great to meet you at the
Right.
open house message. But if I wanted to get a call back, the best message you can leave is, hey, this is Keith. I've got good news. Give me a call back.
Oh, that is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Because the good news is I found a property.
Right.
Everything goes the same
Yep,
once
I like
they
that.
call.
That's very good. I like that.
But people tend to call for good news.
And I've always said, okay, leave one message
Yes.
and keep calling
Yes.
until you get them after that.
Yeah.
So, I like that one.
Okay, good. Next question. Should agents be prospecting for listings in their open house?
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
So there's 3 ways to go about that. So you should pick your open house on Monday before the Sunday.
Monday, like a week prior.
About a week prior, and get invitations out. First invitations, drive around. There's not a lot, but there are some in certain areas, and find all the for sale by owners in the area. And go on the for sale by owner websites. That's where a lot of them are that are close to that property, and send them invitations. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Fisbo,
They will
notice
come.
you're selling your house on your own. You ought to come by to see what we do to sell, and if anything, you want to check out your competition. If they're home that weekend, they will all come. So now you've got for sale by owners coming in your open house. Then pull up the expired list. Pull up the expired list, send them a hand-addressed, handwritten note. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Expired, I noticed your property was on the market with Coldwell Banker for 28 years. It didn't sell. You ought to come by. Our open house was show. Well, I'll definitely tell you why yours didn't sell. It's overpriced.
Right.
And then hit move up neighborhoods. Look at especially if you can stay in the same school district, you'll get a lot of people come. So if you look at properties that are priced lower or smaller, that this property that you're holding open would be a natural move up, then what you want to do is paper that neighborhood.
Right.
So flyers either on the garage door or the front door or however is customary for that area that says, is your family getting bigger? Do you need more space? Wow, with interest rates so low, with some of the mortgage packages we have, we may even be able to get you the similar payment that you're having right now on a better property. You ought to come on by. So those are listing opportunities when they come over.
Yeah.
So those 3 activities before the open house, the for sale by owners, the expireds, and the move up neighborhoods, you hit those hard, you're going to have a lot of listing opportunities when they come in.
On the FSBOs and expireds, within a mile, within 2 miles, what's the, when you use?
It's tough because it depends on where you are.
Right.
If you're in San Francisco,
Might be within
2
3
blocks.
Right,
yeah. If you're in
is there a number?
Tracy,
are you trying to get to 10? Are you trying to get to 20?
I'll tell you this right now. You should get 200 invites out.
Okay.
So if you got 5 FSBOs and 10 expired, now you're looking at 185 houses that you're papering that are close by. Move up.
The aspirational buyer.
And don't forget to do an e-card out to your database each time you do this. And having a fun e-card. Quick, hey, I'm holding 123 Maple Street open. By the way, if you have a buyer that might want to buy it, bring them by. Remember, this is your database.
Right.
You're supposed to be
know
friendly
you,
with them,
like you,
But the key is you're trying to train them to send you referrals. And if they constantly see that you're in the business, that you're working hard, that you're holding properties open, they'll feel more comfortable that you're a pro to refer you business. It keeps you top of mind. To get them buried into that rectangular activator.
Right.
So this is just an activity that you're doing. So if you do these twice a month, your database should be getting an e-card, inviting them to that every 2 months. Every twice a month.
Right. Yeah. Especially in this current market environment. Listings are so paramount right now. And if you get a buyer, you will get a check. It will be a lot of work. If you get a motivated, realistic, and loyal buyer, you will get a check. It's just going to be a lot of work.
Right.
If you get a listing, I won't say it's not work, but, it will sell.
It's done.
Yeah. So focus your energies always on anything you go to. You should be thinking about, how can I turn this into a listing-centric lead generation?
The hairs just stood up on my arm when you said that. That's how much I believe in that. It's serious.
A little
That's
bit of the
good
voice
stuff.
too, probably.
Yeah, probably.
No,
is.
probably not. Just listings. But the more you can focus on, how can I take this event, whatever it is that I'm doing, and turn this into some sort of listing lead generation opportunity?
Yes.
And I love the FSBO and expired, because those are 2 people who have already raised their hand and said, I am willing to go through the disc. Selling your home is uncomfortable, right? It's inconvenient, it's uncomfortable, it sucks.
Right.
Moving sucks.
Right.
And these people have raised their hand and said, I'm willing to go through that suck if someone will
help. And here's what you're doing. Instead of the normal manipulative dialogues that have been trained, I want to come by and see your house. I may have a buyer, which, by the way, they know you're lying. Right. Or the expired dialogues. Right. You're coming at them at giving them value to come see you. Right. Do you want to know why it didn't sell? Right. Come on by. I'll tell you. Yep. By the way, do you want to check out your competition that you're up against? Come by and see it. These are two things that, no, I'm not calling you to make an appointment to manipulate you, to list you. I'm doing an open house in your neighborhood. You might want to check this out. So you'll get them to engage more that way than going at them direct. Yeah, you will.
Good. I know we've talked about this, but I'm going to just drive this point home one more time. You and Kathy have done good work in working with our partner, the Home Loan Group, to unlock the call center for specifically this initiative. Right. And so for leads that are tagged, we can use the call center to follow through.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Great. Last question.
So that means, we're providing the technology, the submit form, the people to call for you to set the appointment. All we need to do now is supply the agent for them to show them the property and fill out the contract. Right. And all our agents could spend their life in Cancun while we take care of everything else.
That's right? Yeah, that'd be pretty good. Yeah. I'm in. Sign me up. All right, so I think we've done a pretty good job at building value in what this tool is, how you can use it, and what it can do. How are we going to roll this out? How are we going to make sure, Rich, I want it right now. Well, slow down. How do we get this information out to the masses?
Well, we're looking at about 30 days is what we've got all the stuff done. We just got to get it on the technology. Okay. Now, if they wanted to do something this Sunday, go to Property Alerts on the website, that form, and use it until the official branding comes out using your webtop. So you could reproduce this today if you wanted to. But the official branding and look and feel and all that, we're about 30 days out for the rollout.
And the flyer stands for the open house.
And the flyer stands and all that's for 30 days out. But the mock-ups are done. I was looking at them today. Kathy's really good. I mean, it looks good. I mean, I was ready to fill out a form, and I'm not really in the market right now. So that's how good it is. It really is. I was looking at it this morning. I was like, God, she's good. So
makes me want to buy a house.
Yeah, it does. So anyway, we're looking about 30 days out. You might as well plan after Fusion because I know everybody's going to Fusion.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to be there. I'm going to be on a panel. You're going to be there.
I'm speaking 2 or 3 times there. You're speaking once or twice there.
So, and it's, where I came from. So, I've got family.
It's where you came from. It's where I like to go. Las Vegas.
So after the Fusion, which all the agents are going to be coming to, I know they are in San Francisco, pretty excited. Yeah. So if you haven't signed up for Fusion, by the way, you need to. Yeah. I mean, it's close. The Aria is just a beautiful property. And
great referral opportunities.
It is a great referral opportunity. And we have gotten some companies in the network lately. Yep. Big ones. East Coast, Texas. This is where you want to go to get some networking and start developing relationships with some of the other BH&G people.
I'll add one other Fusion point. This also is a particularly seminal one that you'll want to go to because there's a whole lot getting rolled out by our brand partner as far as technology, tools. They've been remember, there wasn't a Fusion last year, so they've had 2 full years of development of tools and offerings to bring to the agents that are in the system. And it is going to be a big one with a lot getting rolled out.
And if they want to sign up, I know the emails have gone out, but if not, see your manager, get it signed up today. Get it done. Absolutely. Get it up. Really.
Rich, I know how valuable your time is, so I want to thank you not only for being here, because that is incredibly valuable, but also just your leadership and working with Kathy and the 2 of you for developing this product and coming up with, I think, just a really unique way to rebrand something that we already have to take advantage of the market. One of the things that's important is that we be creative and nimble within this space. And for the 19th largest real estate company in the nation to have a dialogue, 60 days ago?
Yeah, and get it out. Well, Kathy has been the one that just accelerated this instantly. So lots of thanks to her for that.
Yeah,
so,
thank you both. Thank you both for your leadership and for your time. I appreciate it very much.
All right, my friend.
All right, more information on this coming. Be rolled out in the next 30 days. And again, if you really want to start to play with it early, you can. Shameless promo here for LinkedIn on how to use it for lead generation opportunities. This one is a workshop. So this isn't a training. Difference between a training and a workshop is in a workshop, you're going to bring your laptop. You are actually going to turn it on. You are going to really dig in to the tool of LinkedIn. Mike does a lot of technology coaching and consulting with us as a team and with us as a firm. And he is going to bring that intellect to you to help you maximize the tool of LinkedIn. So that is at the Walnut Creek Riviera office on January 9th from 3 until 5 p.m. And I am going to talk to Mike. I just decided to do this right now. So for everyone who attends, we'll raffle off a giveaway, and Mike will shoot a video, an intro video for the attendees. So we'll raffle off one giveaway of Mike shooting an intro video for anyone who registers for this class. So because he does some great video. He does a lot of video work with me. We'll just piggyback that on the day that he does mine. And so we'll raffle off. Anyone who registers in the radio show will know about it first. We'll let everybody know. But you guys will get raffled off for a free video with Mike. So a 2-hour laptop workshop on LinkedIn, how to turn that into a lead generation opportunity for you and for your business. All right. Well, I wanted to carve out a little bit of time in our radio show today because a lot of you know, and those of you that don't, you will know now, I'm a really voracious reader. I try to read between 25 and 50 books a year, which sounds intimidating, but I count comic books and my 10-month-old books too. No, I'm just kidding. I don't count either one of those. But I like to read. There's an Albert Einstein quote when he was asked how was he able to accomplish so much. He says that it was because he stood on the shoulders of giants. And I see reading and books as a way that I can do that. I can take someone who's had an experience or take someone who is an expert or take someone who has a tremendous amount of knowledge and distill it down and then learn from that in a much faster pattern and a much faster pace. So I really love reading, and obviously this is the new year, so there's a lot of people who are making commitments, and every New Year's around this time I start to get pinged for, hey, can you recommend some good books, or I'm thinking about reading 12 books this year. So let me start with this when it comes to reading, because this is a particular passion of mine. First of all, I don't think there's no such thing as bad readers. There's only such a thing as a bad author. So sometimes when people start wanting, they'll start reading a book and then they feel like they're a failure if they don't finish it. You're not. That's just a bad author. Put the book down. Maybe it's the wrong time. Maybe it's not the right. It's not speaking to you. It's not resonating with you. It's not the right time in your life for you to read that book. It's not a huge deal. If you get 2 chapters in and it's not creating any energy for you, and every time you go to read it, it's just like, ugh, then stop reading that book. Go pick up a different one. Go download a different one. There's no such thing as a bad reader. There are only bad authors or bad timing. That's it. That's all. So give yourself some grace. Give yourself some forgiveness. If you don't like the book, put it back. Give it back to whoever lent it to you. Go grab a different book and start reading that one. And then I want to give you books that I have a handful of books. I probably got 15 that I will reread every year to 2 years. And it's just because these books for me mean so much. And so these, whenever anyone asks for a book recommendation, it's usually one of these 5 books that I'll recommend to someone, depending on what they're interested in, what they're excited about, or what's going on in their life or in their personal or professional life. So I'm going to give you kind of a quick 2-minute summary of Keith's 5 favorite books for 2013. I've read all of these multiple times. These are 5 of my favorite books on the planet. And so try them. If you read them and love them, let me know. If you read them and hate them, email Rich or anyone but me. So first, good to great. Now let me start with this book. Reads a little textbooky. It's not the most compelling reading book. So if you are sort of not someone who's read a tremendous amount, I wouldn't start here. I wouldn't use this book to be where you're going to launch your reading commitment for 2012. But Jim Collins is the author, and he took this concept of what makes a company great, and what's the difference between companies that are good and companies that are great. Why does Kmart go in and out of bankruptcy every 10 to 13 years, and why does Walmart become one of the most profitable companies on the planet? Why do retailers have success over other retailers? Why do companies that are essentially the same, why do some do okay and some do amazing? And this is very scientific. He gives real hardcore data and then very fundamental ways that you can grow your business. And what's interesting is I find a lot of it is transferable, not all of it, not 100%, but much of it is transferable to how to run a great real estate business. For all intents and purposes, if you're on this radio show and you're an independent contractor, you are the CEO of your own business. You are the marketing department. You have support from us, but at the end of the day, you're the one who is leading your organization. And implementing some of the things that are in Good to Great and thinking the way the great companies on the planet think and operating your independent contractor business that way can provide real, impactful, sustainable benefit. So Good to Great is a great book. It is, though, don't dive into that one first. If you're not someone who reads already or you're not a pretty voracious reader, don't start there. It's a little bit of a grind to get through that one, very truthfully. So the next one I've got is one I would recommend if you are just kind of getting rolling for your reading commitments. And maybe last year, you read 2 books and you're looking to go to 12. Start with The Traveler's Gift. This isn't a business book per se. This is more of a life book. The basic premise of the book, it's going to sound sci-fi-ish, but I promise it's not, is a guy ends up traveling through time, meeting with key historical figures, and having powerful conversations with those figures. And from each one, he receives a gift. And that gift is a way of thinking that will help spur and drive him forward. And this is one I absolutely reread every year. I've probably given this book as a gift to no less than 50 times. It's one of my favorite books of all time. And I just can't recommend it highly enough. It's a wonderful read. It's an easy read. It's not that long. And the fundamental principles that are in the book, I mean, basically imagine if you got to have a conversation with Christopher Columbus and Anne Frank and King Solomon and other just really historically influential figures. And it's a pretty cool book. And the principles in it, if you can apply them, when you apply them, are powerful. So Traveler's Gift, probably the one that I would recommend the most, that you, especially if you're not looking to really get chunky business focused. The next book is The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. Okay, Keith, but I don't have a team. I haven't built my real estate team yet. No, I know, that's okay, but you still interact with human beings, which is really what this is all about. And it's by one of my favorite authors, Patrick Lencioni, Lincioni, Lincioni. Just Google 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. It's his most famous book. He's actually a business consultant out of San Francisco.
There's only 5?
There's subsets of each one. There's 5 dysfunctions and then 87 subsets of each dysfunction.
Gotcha.
No. Let's say the 5 biggest dysfunctions of a team. How about that? Patrick Lencioni, great author. He's written The 3 Temptations of a CEO, The 4 Passions of an Extraordinary Executive, Silos, Politics, and Turf Wars. He's written a lot of great books. All of his books are written in parable format, so he tells the story of a business person going through a professional struggle and then uses the tools that he's teaching as the solution for the character in his story. So the first 3/4 of the book will be a parable, a business parable, and then the last quarter of the book will be really just a simple breakdown of the tools that he has talked about and used in the story during the first 3/4 of the book. I've read everything he's ever written. He's one of my favorite authors. I buy everything he writes, and I haven't read a bad book of his yet. Five Dysfunctions is his most famous. There are other ones that are great. I would pick up anything by Patrick Lencioni and read it. And again, it's a very easy read. It's kind that you could take away with a quick weekend trip, and I guarantee you'd finish it. Just good, simple, fundamental stuff for you to get into your brain and start to think about your business in a slightly different way. I know Rich will agree with this because he's a big fan as well. I don't think you could have a 5 must-read books list and not have something from Stephen Covey on it. I don't really think that would be humanly possible.
That's right.
Yeah. He's wrote the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He wrote the 8th Habit. My personal favorite, well, okay, it depends what you're looking for. So I'm going to turn this into maybe your 6 must-read books. If you're just getting started reading heavily or really trying to grow your reading commitment, read The Speed of Trust. It's my favorite book of Covey's. The basic principle is that trust flattens all business cycles. Trust speeds everything up. Why does a referred buyer or a repeat buyer or a repeat client, why does it go so much easier and so much smoother? Because trust has already been established. And then when you meet someone and it's cold, why does it take a little longer and why is the process a little more clunky? Well, because trust hasn't been established yet. And trust is earned. It's not given. So you don't give trust. You earn trust. So this book really breaks down the benefits of trust. And then the cool part is it gives you really specific tools for exactly how to create trust with the consumer. And it's one of my favorites of his.
Just one quick little note.
Yep.
A lot of people don't know. It was actually written by Covey's son.
Oh,
who's Stephen
that's right.
M.R. Covey.
Yeah, that's true. True.
And all the CEOs across the country when it came out just gave it rave reviews.
It's bananas. It's
yeah,
great.
Yeah.
Now, it's Steve's dad, Stephen Covey,
right.
Sr. His most famous book is probably The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Yeah. And that book is phenomenal. It is dense, packed with meat.
It's like a human being owner's manual.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah. Now, and in my opinion, unfortunately, sometimes it reads a little like an owner's manual.
It is. It does.
So
I agree. It's dense.
It is a dense, packed book. Truthfully, it took me, I had to take 2 or 3 runs at that to really consume it.
It was on the business bestseller list, the longest running book on the business bestseller list ever in the history of books.
Yeah.
Just give you an idea.
It's great.
Yeah.
So Speed of Trust and or The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Just don't think you're going to, kind of sit back on the couch and languidly read the 7 Habits. That's not that. You're going to sit at your desk with a notepad next to you, and if you get through a chapter, be proud of yourself because that one is just packed with stuff, but absolutely worth the read. Last one, and this one is just pure because Keith loves it. One of my big passions last year, really probably over the last 18 months, has been really understanding and learning how the brain works because mine is so scary. Mine's a scary place. So there's a new science that's coming out. It's really already out, but there's a lot of science that's being developed around how human beings make decisions and literally the neuroprogramming for how the brain works when it's thinking and making decisions. And Iconoclast is a book that's a really, why are there certain human beings, why are there certain people that just have the ability to create so much? Florence Nightingale, many of us know of her as an amazing nurse. What we may not know is she was also a world-class mathematician. And why was this one person so filled with so much talent? Well, usually a big piece of it, and this is the premise of the book, is that they think differently. They literally, their brain works differently. One thing from the book I'll share just as a quick anecdote is one way to be iconoclastic is to expose yourself to new things. The old 80-20 rule is, we wear 20% of the clothes in our closet 80% of the time. We go to 20% of the restaurants we know, or we go to 20% of the restaurants we know 80% of the time. So we humans by nature, the brain, because there's so much stimulus coming at it, tries to create habits and patterns. That's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. But the iconoclastic thinkers have trained themselves to break out of habitual thinking when they want to. So they're willing to form habits to get a result, but they don't let their brain get mired in habitual thinking. So even just something as crazy as going to that Thai restaurant that you've driven past 100 times, don't always go to the same places that you go to. Don't break out of that routine and expose yourself to new things. My daughter is 10 months old. She's up to 51 words. Everybody say yay. Yay, thank you. And why do little kids learn so much so fast? Well, the brain is a lot like a muscle. The more you use it, the better it works. And my daughter has never experienced anything. She's 10 months old. So everything is brand new to her. So her synapses and her neurons literally scientifically are functioning at a higher level than someone who isn't experiencing something new every instant. And as we get older, we because we live a life, we don't experience as many new things. The more new things you can experience, travel to a country where you don't speak the language, and don't stay at the all-inclusive resort where everyone speaks English.
I had a class I went to, personal development course for a week, and they made the men, if you shaved with your right hand, shave with your left. And what was interesting is, I didn't cut my face, but what it did is it exercised that part of the brain, and so many things opened up that week. It was amazing. I ordered different things off the menu just because I was using that part. By the way, I just ordered the book.
Oh, cool.
Online right here. I was like, oh, that sounds good. I haven't read that one.
Good deal.
Anyway, order it.
I couldn't give it to you. It's in my office, but that's cool. No biggie. So Iconoclast, very cool book. This one it's a Harvard Press book. It's meaty. It's not one you're going to jam through in a quick weekend. But the content, for me anyway, I guess the reason that I probably put this one in here is it's something that I'm really passionate about right now. And as you're developing your reading list for 2013, just find things you're interested in. Find things you're passionate about. If you get excited about negotiation, and that's something that just really stimulates you, there's some amazing books on negotiation. Go find them, read them. Your passion will carry you through a book, and you'll find good in the book, and you'll grow and develop from it. So put some things on your reading list that are that anchor into your real passion. I have a question from the audience. What's your opinion on overwhelming oneself with many various, sometimes conflicting opinions from different authors? Ooh, that's a good question. Good question, Joe. So, all right, trust yourself. That's my answer. Take in the information and then run it through your own brain. Don't just take what someone says and believe that it's true. Take what someone says and then determine if you believe that it's true. So this is so true with the internet right now, because anyone who's got a keyboard can put up anything, and it may not always be the truth. I was talking with someone yesterday who said that she had heard that this had to do with icing, right? Because she's got a sports injury. So, should I ice for 20 minutes and then off for 40, like has always been said? Or she had read that you could leave ice on for an hour. Well, okay. Use your brain. Take it in, process it, think about it, and then make your decision on what you believe. What matters is what you believe, not what some author said is true. So use your intellect, use your intuition, use your intelligence. Thinking is a pretty powerful experience. And when you think, you get better at it. So if you read something and you go, that's kind of BS, be okay with that. That's cool. You don't have to agree. And if you read something and you go, man, that's awesome, and then a week later you go, yeah, I don't think that's as awesome as I thought it was before. That's okay too. So when you get conflicting or sometimes conflicting or really different opinions, especially as we get into some of this more technical stuff, if you go out and buy books on real estate books on how to do open house or that kind of thing, just find one thing, find two things that you believe in that resonate with you that you want to feather in and add to your business. So there is a couple of items to get you started on your reading list for 2013. If any of you want to email me, I've got dozens and dozens of books that I could recommend. You could give me some topics you're interested in, and I'd be happy to help you develop and form your personal reading list. So coming up in the next few weeks, do not miss next week. We've got Lessons from the Field with Bill Jansen. Always great information. We're also going to have Janet Cristiano with us as well. So tremendous learning will happen in the next radio show. Whenever we have Bill, we just clear the whole hour. We turn the phones on, and we just do questions with Bill for a full hour. So great insight in the next radio show. Then coming up on the 21st, we've got some information around the election, some of the changes that creates, and then generating short sale business with MRA Short Sale Solutions. And then at the end of the month, we've got The Art of Perseverance with Sue out of our Pleasanton office. So great slate of shows coming up for you in January. Again, just want to say Happy New Year to everyone. We're so glad you gave us some of your time to be on the radio show. Thank you for all the great questions today. Happy New Year. Successful 2013 for you, and go out and sell a house today.